Hi,
Good day.
Jeremy,
Hi, Mike.
uh, and welcome to Spiritual Sundays. And we've got a new format where we've been contemplating a question for the week. This is another great question. Um, how do you find stillness in your life when your life keeps moving? How do you find stillness in your life when your life keeps moving? Which is a great question. Fantastic. I love it.
Yeah,
How do
well,
you,
life is
how,
always kind of moving, isn't it?
yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Except for when you're on a couch in the sunshine, which is happening right now. That's quite good. It's quite so,
Yeah,
well, that's an answer to what one of the things is. I think often, we're called courses for spirit. It's about spirituality, but it's really about everyday spirituality,
yeah,
which is just your life. So it's not like you go away and do something different. It's like I've I've got an espresso. I'm lucky enough that I have converted a couch to an outdoor seating and I've got it in my garden, and the sun's shining, and it's a bank holiday weekend, and
yeah,
so I'm having a moment of stillness with a cup of coffee, talking to a friend, sitting on a couch. So there's a moment of stillness, and that's as every bit as profound, I would say, as going into any other type of stillness. I think it's a good thing to do. I think everyone should take a breather.
yeah. I think so too.
How do what came from you from contemplating the question?
Well, I mean, everything is in motion to a certain degree, and I really like um there's like active motion. There's the Hare Krishnas, for example, they sing and they dance their way to ecstasy. So they're chanting the Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And so they're chanting that while they dance or while they're in perpetual motion. I used to I used to chant that while I cycled
Mm-hmm.
because I used to go on long, long bike rides. And so sometimes I would chant that. So each pedal each time I would pedal, I'd be Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And so the idea behind that motion is that in even in motion, we can still attain enlightenment. We can still have moments of rapture while in motion.
Mm.
And so there's a stillness that comes out of that. And actually, people that do dance often they'll say that when they're doing their dance routine, like a ballerina. I've worked with ballerinas before, and they say there's a point where they're doing the routine and they're doing the movements, but their mind is free. And I know in martial arts and karate, the same thing when we're doing the routines, the forms. As we're doing the form, we've done it so many times that our body is in motion, but our mind is free.
Mm. Yeah. And anybody who's likes dancing and has been out and had a proper good dance, you'll know there's moments when, although you find stillness in the middle of all that movement, and that's a beautiful feeling thing. So, and actually, singing and dancing has always been a huge part in finding stillness inside for human beings, and
Yeah,
and changing your state as well without ingesting anything. Although obviously you can do that, but the singing and the dancing is a really important part of what it means to be human. Yeah. So
yeah,
that's a big part. That's it's really important. Yeah.
yeah. And so
What's
that's a way that even though things are in motion, they can still be stillness.
yeah. And so that leads on to other things that if you get into some kind of a practice, if you've got a practice of meditation, if you've got a kindness being practiced, a practice of being kindness, of being kindness, being kind,
Yeah.
when you get into that, you can find that you get into a state of flow as well, where you feel pretty good about what you're doing, and you've got a feeling of stillness even though you're doing things because your mind's a little bit stiller. So it is possible. Just saying it's possible, but it takes effort to get to the point where it becomes possible. I would say it
Yeah.
takes effort. I'm asking, that's kind of a question. Do you think it takes effort?
It does to a certain degree. But also there's sometimes when people are dancing, they're not really. Sometimes dancing takes an effort, sometimes it doesn't. There's times when we spontaneously laugh and spontaneously start moving to the music. And when that happens, it's instant.
Hmm.
So it
Hmm.
depends on the person, depends on the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But those are ways of having stillness, even though your life keeps moving. And actually,
Yeah.
we're talking about having stillness from movement.
Yeah.
Right? As runners will know that, and climbers will know that. Anybody who's
Yeah.
kind of something like that, whatever.
Yeah. In sport.
Mm, yeah. I don't know. Have we answered that question?
I think so.
Yeah. So it is possible to do it. And if you're in a situation where you are being driven to distraction by your mind, that's not a joke. And that's something that one thing would always urge is to be kind to yourself as best that you
Yeah.
can. And if you can't be kind to yourself, to reach out to something like Mass Samaritans, or but depending where you are, there's always going to be a helpline that you can find, and somebody will have volunteered and they will listen to you. And although that's not stillness, it may be at least some relief to talk to somebody who is going to be open and sympathetic in themselves is embodying kindness. So that's how I'd
Yeah.
finish on today's Spiritual Sundays.
Yeah.
What's your closing thoughts, Jeremy?
My closing thoughts is that there are many groups to join. Um, Even just dancing on your own, dancing like no one's watching, putting music on in your bedroom and dancing away to that can make a difference.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay. Brilliant. And then we'll be back with another question next week. But
Yeah.
for now, it's just goodbye and see
Goodbye,
you next
everyone.
week.
See you next week.